ACM, CCM.
Yay, podcast! Good morning, Native America! Young and Indigenous here. My name is Isabella James. I am 24 years old and I'm here with Connor. And he is 8 months old tomorrow. Take it, Bae.
All right, I'm Bae. Just kidding. My name's Michelle Pulaski, and I am 20 years old. Yay Podcast stands for Young and Indigenous, and that's who we are. We are doing this for our community members, trying to build bridges by bringing people together to share their concerns, stories, love, ideas, and more. But it is also for those people who are outside of our community who would like to learn more about us as Indigenous people from our podcast episodes. We are recording Young and Indigenous here in the homeland of the Lummi Nation.
All right, on this Young and Indigenous podcast, you are going to be listening to my brother Quincy, Tyson Scarborough. You'll be listening to him teach me my introduction of my Lummi language.
So, in language, we always, start off with CCM, who's our creator, our God, our omnipotent being, or, our higher power. And Salalukhla is our passed down elders, or angels, or guardians. And Naut is hello. Siam is a person of respect in the masculine form. And Siashlam is person of respect in the feminine form. These are all just words that we're going off you'll hear them in our introduction. And muck and omuk is all or all of. Qua is present tense. La is past tense. Sa is future tense. Tlal is also. Sa is also masculine. And tsa and sa is feminine. Example, tsa ngana is boy child, sa ngana is girl child. Snat is name. So we'll start off with CCM I omak salalukla sa kheno angest tsana haishka laying sa an omak nganina Quincy Sana Quilmuxnat, E. Tyson Scarborough, Sa na Juanitum Snat. Out sin telnanget sana omak chasen, E. Estit tamalsin telnanga E. Anges sa mamimin telnanget sa chasen. So, what we heard here is Creator and all of our passed on elders were really offering my thanks, watching over all of your children, and then, Tsana Huilmuksnat is my native name, and Juanitumsnat is my non-native name, or in other terms, my English name. Cha Huilamisin, I'm from Lummi. So, you wanna say your introduction now?
Yeah.
CCM
CCM
I Salalukhla
I Salalakwa
Sakheno Angest
Sakeno Angus
Sana
Sana Haishka
Langits and Omak
Langits and Omak
Nganina.
Nanina, Quincia, Sana,
Huilmuch.
Huamok, Snani,
Snap.
Snap,
E.
E,
Isabella James.
Isabella James,
Sana.
Sana,
Juanitum Snap.
Konitum Snap,
Cha Hulamisen.
Cha Qualmixon,
Outson Telnanget.
Oxen Telnonget,
Sana Omak Chasen.
Sana Omak Chauson,
Eastit Tamalsen.
Eastia Owason,
Estitum.
Asitum,
S.
A,
S.
S,
T.
T,
Tum.
Tum,
All.
O,
Sin.
Sen,
Telnanget.
Telnonget,
Angus.
Angus,
Sana.
Sana,
Mamiman Telnanget.
Mum Tenonget,
Zachasen.
Sachasan. Creator and all of past elders, really offering my thanks, watching over all of your children. Quincia is my native name. Isabella James is my non-native. I don't understand all of my language. I'm just trying my best. I am learning and offering a little understanding of language.
All right, Mr. Hilaire, would you like to tell us about the history of the Lummi language?
How it disappeared?
How it disappeared.
Yeah, in the old days, Lummi people spoke the Sanchasan version of Salish language. At contact and from contact, in all those years that followed, our language was taken away from us. First off was from the need to understand the newcomers, and our people started learning the English language to figure out how to trade with them and how to live in our homeland with them, how to understand the Juanitum's intentions. So that's the first step of losing our language, because we were really kind of overwhelmed with the amount of people coming here. That we had to learn to understand them, and sometimes that meant speaking English. So then after a treaty was signed, and then there were a number of policies, federal policies, passed by the United States governments to assimilate us into the dominant culture at that time, because real soon our population dwindled and their population grew. There was a need for the United States government, and they're thinking that we need to make the natives just like us. So what they did then was, as a matter of policy and under agreement with the Christian faith, started requiring that our children go to boarding school, where they were to learn the new ways of how to live and how to conduct themselves and how to speak. So they were forbidden from speaking their language.
like after learning my introduction, I felt very calming, and it brings you closer to those old people. And it kind of, after learning my introduction, you could kind of feel that peace, that calmness. It feels powerful. It kind of felt really powerful to me, and I thought that was a really good feeling.
Sana mak Stjalacha I omak ela Huyan sasuch sana kluchlas squat. So you're putting your hands up to all of your family and all of the people listening to a little bit of your words, because they could be anywhere else, but whether it's on podcast or whether they're facing you. You thank them for, that little bit of time they offered. Zayat. Sin. Sa. Na. Mak. Stjalacha. I. Omak. Ela. Huyan. Sasuch. Sana. Kluchlas. Kluchlas. Chlas. Squat. Omak Ela. Ela is just like people. So Omak Ela would be, all of the people. And that would just be like all of the people that are listening, or all of the people that are here. All of the people that are offering that time. It's personalized for you.
Mm-hmm. What's so funny?
I don't know. You can read it, or you want me to read it through?
I can read it. Sala. Siam.
I salalo. La. Sakeno anges. Sana haishka. Lenge. San. Omak. Nanina. Quintia. Sana Quilmuch. Snat. I. Isabella James. Sana. Juanitum Snat. Cha Hulamison. Outson Tanange. Sana. Omak. Chasen. I. Estit Dawson. Talnange. I Angus. Samamimin. Talnange. Sachasen. Sayatsen. Sana. Makstjalacha. I Omakela. Huyansuch. Sana. Kluchlas. Kluchlas. Squat.
I said, creator, and pass on elders. Really offering my thanks, watching over all of your children. Quincia is my native name. Isabella James is my non-native. I am from Lummi. I don't understand all of my language. I am just trying my best to understand and offer a little understanding of language. Putting my hands up to all of my family and all of my people. Listening to a little bit of my works. Almost said works.
Works, same thing.
Work for my works. I start saying work.
Let's check.
That's good.
So there are many efforts at that through the boarding school and then through the need to trade. And then finally, there were termination policies where they decided, well, we'll just terminate the relationship with the Native people altogether. There were relocation programs established where tribal people were relocated from their reservation to the city. When they were relocated, then another loss in language was experienced. So then you have the church, you have the government, you have relocation, you have disease, you have alcohol, and then pretty soon the language is almost forgotten. After our leaders, our old leaders figured it out, then they decided to hold on. And the first effort to hold on was a lot of them went underground and practiced spirituality without the knowledge of the federal government, because they wanted to outlaw it, and they did outlaw it. So that was kind of how we held on. And then through the 60s and 70s, the era of self-determination, where our grandparents said, well, we're just going to fight back, and they started doing things for themselves. At Lummi, that was Lummi's School of Aquaculture, which today became Northwest Indian College. They started fighting back and fought for their treaty rights, and we won the Bolt decision. And next thing you know, we were gaining momentum with court battles won, with legislation that empowered our right to self-governance. And then through self-governance and through our victories, we started practicing our way of life even more. And today it's been exponential, and because of what our grandparents did to fight for our rights and stand up for what they believed in.
My brother, he got to spend time with my grandparents more than I did. He said that he started learning Lummi language in high school, and then he just took more of it on after he graduated. So that was more of his part in wanting to learn the language. He went upon himself to go out and, to find the teachings and the people that did know the language or do know the language. Well, like our chief, Bill James. This first one always goes past my head.
Remember nish, sish.
Oh yeah, sush.
Sish. Sish. Siam.
Shisham. E. Salawalo.
Salah.
Salalok.
Loch.
Loch.
La.
La.
Sachena.
Sakena. Angus.
Angus.
Angus. Angus. Quoi?
Sa.
Sa. Sana. Haishka Lange. Sa. Omak.
Omak. Nanina.
Quincia. Sana. Quomok. Sna. E. Isabella James. Sana Quanitum. Sna. Cha Qualomson. Kwalami son. E. Outson. Tanonget. Sana Omak Chauson. y estamanosan.
Estitum.
Estitum.
All.
All.
Sin.
Olsen. Talanonga. Y Angus. Sa. Mamiman. Talanonga. Si Chausen.
Sayet.
Sayet. Sen. Sana. Milk. Muck. Shalanga.
Stalacha.
Stalacha. E. Almaquel.
Ela.
Oh, yeah. Ela. Quien.
Such.
So. Sana.
Clue.
Cool.
Clue.
Cool.
Slush.
Slush.
Squill.
Quell. And creator and passed on elders, really offering my thanks, watching over all of your children. Quincia is my native name. Isabella James is my non-native name. I am from Lummi. I don't understand all of my language. I am just trying my best to understand and offer a little understanding of my language. Putting my hands up to all of my family and all of my people, listening to a little bit of my words.
Lang escucha Juanita. Lang escucha Juanita.
I think the language is very important because it does bring you closer to those old people, and it, those old people can give you messages if you're listening to them,
Lang escucha Juanita. Lang escucha Juanita.
If you can hear them, through anything, like Keith says, you can hear the words of those old people even through us. Those people live through us. Just like little words or sayings,
So it's an ohilo quinasanat teatrality esquile. See
It might just seem like an introduction, but when you're speaking language, you're speaking to them as well. Not to just the ones that are here. It's really sacred. And sometimes it gets even confusing for me to, write it down and see it in books. Because, this has always been an oral tradition. But it's really cool to, be able to see it at the same time. Because we can create things like this, for everybody that, doesn't understand or know yet, or, for the ones that want to, have that drive to learn. So this is pretty cool. I really like this.
This is cool.
Gives me a chance to offer, my little bit of understanding.
Take what you know and put it on paper to share.
That's Keith, my partner.
Paper's not that useless.
And I was like, I'd rather do it in person instead of over all the recording stuff, I just think you learn a lot better if it's just like a one-on-one thing, doing it.
Yeah, I was really surprised, reading that Sinchathan book and, the way they broke it down, and, I could almost, put Uncle Bill, just imagine him sitting in front of me and, saying, I would say,
When listen at salaloch lachas keno his. He hawk what's a squall at this chale, the salaloch, just a keno his. Just wham at a oh makwelmoch just keno his.
saying, I would say the word and then I can hear him saying,
as I listen to the stories of the old people relating to how we have to remember who we are and where we come from, and remember who we are as a people.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and that's cool to think, that, just, later on, it might actually be possible for someone to learn language out of a language dictionary.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like planting a seed, I think. If we nurture it, it can grow. We have, as humans and as natives, we've always learned to adapt to what we're going through in the moment. Not all of our elders were given the opportunity to learn their language. So to be able to learn it and be able to spread that out just a little bit is cool.
That is, wow.
But he's like, I know you can read it.
That's awesome.
I believe in you. I had to go back and make sure I could, was reading them right and stuff.
I thought that was really awesome. It was really cool. Even a lot of people are like, hey, I seen your brother up there on the stand on Paddle of Lummi. And they're just like, I know, right? It's like, I'm really proud of him. It's awesome. It's something he's always wanted to do. And look, he's out here welcoming all of our people.
Here is Tyson welcoming the canoes ashore for Canoe Journey, an annual gathering of tribal nations.
Again, we thank you. Our hearts are full and we humbly ask permission to come ashore.
Asiami siasam niskalacha saheno aishka I siasam saheno aishka I khachmina tiasqual I
That was so cool. I got like a big adrenaline rush from that, because, it was amazing to see, all them canoes pull up and how many of, them use the language. And, I sat there and thought, how much time it took for me to learn just a little bit and then to be able to, expand to, where I'm at today. And then to, see all them, my other family out there and, how much time, I can only imagine it has taken them to learn what they understood and to be able to offer that back. And that was what was truly amazing for me. It was almost jaw-dropping. It was just like, wow. Like, I'm not the only one.
There's other people that understand me.
Maybe I'm not a loner.
Just gotta go find my right people,
Standing there watching all of, them canoes come up, and I just sat there and thought, I'm like, this is all my family. Suquamish and Duwamish, I have, relatives from there. There was people from, the island, just, everybody that comes, from all them tribes, and, that's why we always say family, and I was just like, wow, this is all my family. And it gave me a boost in my drive to want to keep learning more.
Same. You give me a boost. And I'm like sitting here, I want to learn my language. Now you're realizing, like, holy cow, my brother knows this. Why ain't I learning from him? It's like all right in front of me. You just gotta open my big brown eyes and realize it. Because I literally prayed all year, like how much I missed you guys and how much I just wanted to be around you guys again, I was like, I just missed that comfort of being around people, but at the same time, I was just like,
I'm doing my thing right now.
Yeah, I was like, I was just doing my thing, kind of lost. But I'm glad I found my way back.
Kind of journey.
Like, I'm glad you all are still here for me.
everything that we go through, it teaches us something or offers us a blessing. I started with like a really small introduction. Like we were saying, this is a big one, and that's what I just did. I just wrote out, small speeches, and then they just got bigger and bigger and bigger, and it helps you remember.
Just probably even just saying it, picking a time in the day to just study it for an hour or two.
Yeah. So Leo always says it's best to, learn in the morning. That's when I would always try and go over and, soak in as many words. When you do it early in the morning, you spend all day, thinking about it.
That's what I learned today.
Yeah. Speaking like me soon.
I know. And everyone's be like, wow, Bella, you're really gonna be a speaker, huh?
You're cool, man.
Well, you guys believe in me, so I'm gonna go and learn it.
I'm gonna try it.
Yeah, I'm gonna try my best to do it. I was like, I really believe in myself in this part. I was like, you guys have been calling me as a witness since I was 16, so... It's like, Bill always calls me as a witness. And it's like, he sees something in me and believes in me, so I guess I should start going towards that and believing in that part in me more.
Cool. I really like that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, but I had one question. So, Sinchasan, you said that's what they spoke first. So what does that mean?
It's there's different dialects in the Coast Salish territory: Sanchasam, Halkmenum, Shuitseed, and there are a few others. But for us, it's those people that lived. I guess it's along the Fraser River and the migratory path of the Sakai. Right along it, they all spoke the same language, which made sense. They were all traveling with the salmon as they went up the river. It makes sense that they all spoke the same language. Then those people outside of that route spoke another language.
So today, do people speak Sinchasan?
Yeah, and it's all integrated. Sanchasan, Hokmenum, they're kind of woven together, and that's probably because we're starting to teach ourselves both from what people held on to, and through our college and our school system, it's a kind of a mix. But it's in the smokehouse too. You can hear the different versions, Yeah. Where do I get my check? Hey, where you going? Where you going? Yeah.
Yay Podcast is produced by Michelle Pulaski, Isabella James, Ellie Smith, Mark Nichols, and Daryl Hiller.
We would like to thank our other team members, Natasha Fry and John Carroll.
Branding and logo done by Bo Garreau. Opening song created by Chance Mede, Keith Jefferson, and Mark Nichols. Family song sung by Tanya Teton. Original flute music by Jonah Ballou. Stick game song by Johnny Bob.
That's the song that comes to me when I'm riding around by myself in the car.
Okay, sing your prayer song.
Song sung by Jack Hagee.
We would like to thank the original song by Michael George and the West Shore Canoe family.
Additional words from Chief Bill James. Thank you to the Lummi people for the farewell song.
I'd like to thank my brother Quincy Tyson Scarborough for taking the time to speak the language and teaching it to me, and that was really cool, to get to learn a little bit more words from my brother. So, thank you, Brother Tyson.
We would like to thank the Slaktamish Foundation, Potlatch Foundation, and the First Nations Development Institute.
Yay Podcast is a part of Children of the Setting Sun Productions.
Lay Nooks and Stuff. See you later. Yay Podcast.
Yeah.